What do you think of the way the media is treating the debate? Do you think that they're focusing too much on the horse race as opposed to examining the important issues that divide the candidates, that differentiate the candidates, and what is the truth about those issues? In other words, is it important for the, I know this is a long question, is it important for the media to examine whether who has the right answer to the particular questions, public policy issues that are at stake?
Well, let's be clear, debates are political theater. The candidates treat them that way, we probably treat them that way in the news business. That doesn't mean there isn't an important amount of substance in these debates. But when you get down to the 17th, the 18th, the 19th debate, we in the press, and maybe to a certain extent the viewers at home, because a lot of people are tuning in this year for these debates, they've heard what Mitt Romney has to say about his health care record in Massachusetts. They've heard what Newt Gingrich and Rick Santorum have to say about immigration and the other issues that come up, the economy, foreign policy. So what makes news at this point in the cycle is the way they go after each other. And in Gingrich's case, the way he goes after us, what he likes to call the elite media.
So do you think it's important, though, for the viewers to know, for example, that Ron Paul disagrees on foreign policy with the other candidates? So he was against the war in Iraq, right? And he wants the troops to come home. Now, isn't that an important issue?
It's absolutely an important issue, but it would be impossible to, if you've watched more than 2 or 3 of these debates, not to know that Ron Paul wants to bring American troops home, not just from Afghanistan, but from Germany, South Korea, and around the world. I mean, that's one good aspect of these debates, even though they often, the coverage of them often focuses on who had the best one-liner or the best attack, the best zinger. Is they do bring to a somewhat mass audience serious disagreements about foreign policy, about the economy, about taxes, about health care. Even though it's a Republican primary and a lot of the candidates agree with each other for the most part, there are significant disagreements, as in the case of Congressman Paul.
Well, what I'm trying to get at is, isn't it very important for the American people to know what is the right answer? Should we bring the troops home or not? And to have a debate about that answer, about the reasoning that supports Ron Paul's position. Because I agree with you. At least we get to know that somebody is in favor of bringing the troops home. But the reasoning as to exactly why and what's wrong with the foreign policy, according to him, that we really don't get. It's not discussed.
If you want detailed analysis of any issue, healthcare, flat tax, Afghanistan, Iraq, what to do about Iran, the truth is, even with all the media sources available today, newspapers do the best job of providing that. Television doesn't have the time, or in many cases the inclination, to go deep on some of these issues. That's certainly not true around. It's certainly true around these debates, which we tend to look for the most exciting or inflammatory sound bites. So people who are interested in this stuff ought to go on their computers, go to good websites that they trust, go to newspaper sites, go to magazine sites, and there's more information available today in terms of any of these presidential campaign issues than ever before, and certainly in any campaign that I've covered.
Do you think that we should bring the troops home?
I'm a journalist. It is not my job to say we should bring the troops home or not bring the troops home. It is my job to examine what the different candidates have to say about bringing troops home, what would happen if we did bring the troops home, what would happen if we adopted the kind of tax plans or health care plans that the Republicans are advocating versus what President Obama will be talking about in his State of the Union. That's my job. It's not my job to take a position on any of these issues. I've got to get back to work.
But you do have an opinion on this issue, right?
It is not my job to have an opinion on this issue.
You don't have an opinion on the issue of whether we should bring the troops home?
I am not a politician. I'm a journalist.
Right.
I know you can appreciate the difference.
But do you have an opinion on that issue?
I have opinions on all kinds of things, but as a journalist, I will give you my analysis of the political and media world that I cover. I don't take stances in favor of legislation or against legislation. What we should do about the troops, what we should not do about the troops. That's not my public role.
You think that it would harm you if you shared your view with the public and participated in a debate as to whether they should come home or not?
I can participate in a debate about what should happen to American troops in Afghanistan, Iraq, and around the world. without getting on a soapbox. I don't believe that journalists should just be passive recorders of what he said this and she said that, and we don't provide any illumination. I think we have to be aggressive in examining the positions, contradictions, what they said 5 years ago. They live up to what they say when it comes to government spending. Republicans say they want smaller government. Have Gingrich and Romney and Santorum lived up to that or not? I don't think it's the role of journalists, unless you're an opinion page columnist, which I am not, to be taking stances on things like what we should do about American troops. And with that, I'm going to have to get back to work.
Okay, so just to wrap it up, you do have an opinion, but you can't share it with us. Is that's
I
the
have
thing
opinions
that
on all kinds of
I'm
things.
just kind of perplexed as to why it is. If you shared your opinion with us, would you think that everybody thought you were biased or non-objective? Is that the reason why you can't share your view?
I don't think the position that I'm taking is very unremarkable. I think it's very unremarkable for a journalist to take this position. I go pretty far as somebody who is an analyst, who talks on television, in giving an indication of what I think, where I think politicians are dodging, what I think issues are important. I often talk about issues that are not being sufficiently covered by the media. But, you know, I haven't devoted a great deal of study to what would happen if U.S. troops came out of Afghanistan. I don't consider myself an expert on the subject.
But you're a citizen, and you're a concerned citizen.
Okay, but when you're a journalist, you have a responsibility beyond being a citizen. You have a responsibility to the people who read you, to the people who watch you on television.
To keep quiet?
To offer an informed opinion, and also to be seen as a fair broker between people in the political arena. If I were to get on a soapbox right now and say, I think we should do this, and I think we should do that, and I think we should do the other thing, then I'm not a reporter anymore, and that's what I am. I'm a reporter.
That would disqualify you as a reporter if you gave an opinion. So that's what I thought. So you think that if you have having an opinion,
you're trying to put me in a box, and that's not the box I'm going to be in.
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
You're putting words in my mouth.
If you have an opinion that makes you biased or non-objective, that's why you can't offer your opinion.
You're trying to reduce this to black and white. Either you have opinions or you don't have opinions. I'm trying to answer your question with a little more nuance. All journalists have opinions. All journalists have life experiences that influence what they do.
And shouldn't they
In my
contribute
view,
to the debate?
They should contribute to the debate by bringing smart and intelligent analysis and doing their homework and fact-checking what candidates say and what other politicians say and what business leaders say. That's the best way that I can contribute to the debate. And with that, I have to go back to work.
Okay, well, thank you for the interview, Howard.
Thank you.